everyone, and welcome to week 8 of Freeing an Incarcerated World fundraising campaign. I'm Lacey Frazier, and I am here with our week 8 update. Our campaign will be ending on January 2nd, but we wanted to make sure that we brought you some really important and additive viewpoints about this film and about our larger vision for reentry. And so we've done that throughout the weeks. And tonight I am so happy and excited to have my friend and colleague, Sharon Harrison Pope, here with us tonight. And I will let Sharon introduce herself and tell you a little bit about what she does. But I can tell you she's a dynamo, and she is boots on the ground in the field of reentry. So I feel very, very fortunate to have her here talking with me tonight about our fundraising campaign, about the film we want to make, and about our larger vision for reentry. So welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Lacey. And just wanted to say I'm very honored to be a part of this endeavor. And I believe so strongly in Dr. Lacey Frazier and everything she does, and especially Freeing an Incarcerated World. I think it is going to be a monumental tool to help people become enlightened about the trials and tribulations and the hope that is in transformation. But first, my name is Sharon Harrison Pope, and I am the reentry coordinator in Guilford County. I have a team of 2 other great folks, Chap Williams and KJ Adams. The 3 of us are working in the field of reentry, which is rather new in Guilford County. It started several years ago, and the vision was several years ago. Edward Williams, Chap Williams, started the program, and we've received some grant funding, and now we are on the end of opening a reentry center in High Point. We hope to, within the next 12 months, open a second center in Greensboro, and it's basically a reentry support center for folks. I have a 30-year career in law enforcement administration and have transitioned in the last year into reentry coordination along with my other team members, and very excited to help folks as they transition from local jails and prison back into our community.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sharon. And I have had the fortunate opportunity to join you and Chap and KJ in Guilford County periodically, and you've got some amazing stuff going on there, and I love being a part of everything you're doing in reentry, and I'm learning a ton. And you have given me an opportunity on multiple occasions to bring some of my ideas, such as the coach approach to reentry, to Guilford County. And you've also allowed me to share my film that I want to make, this Freeing an Incarcerated World film, as well as a larger vision that I have for reentry. So I know you've seen the trailer, and you've talked to me extensively about my dreams and my visions for working with this population, and for really kind of helping people look through a new lens when it comes to prison reentry and societal reentry for people. So can you talk a little bit, Sharon, about how you think that this film could impact the field of reentry? The lives of people coming out of prison, the staff who work in the field of reentry. Can you share with us some of your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. I think for me, what I see as the largest benefactor of the film is as an educational tool, because so many people, if they haven't been impacted directly by someone in their family or someone close to them, a lot of folks have a one-dimensional view of crime and punishment. And things are either black or white. There's no gray areas. And so having an opportunity to give insight into the lives of those that are impacted, how trauma and things impact folks and their behaviors. And so it's not a really a, you know, one-dimensional problem, you know, the
Yeah.
reentry into society, and how that when crime, you know, a person commits a crime, not always, but often there are so many mitigating factors of how trauma, you know, from childhood trauma all the way through adult trauma and things, and the number of folks who have experienced such great trauma even as children, that lands them incarcerated. So the story behind the story, I think, as an enlightening tool for just average Joe and Jane citizen, will be the biggest impact with this film, because it's not just whether you're, you know, on the left hand side of the aisle or the right hand side. It impacts us all. It impacts our tax dollars as folks, with the tremendous cost that it takes to incarcerate people. And then once they're released, the problems and the recidivism rate. I mean, that is one area that we are in Guilford County going to study very, very closely. We are actually helping develop some software that's going to closely track this in our county. But that bigger picture of educating, you know, just the average person whose lives really hasn't been impacted other than through, you know, their tax dollars supporting this, just changing those, or enlightening and changing those minds of, it's not just bad people doing bad things.
Right.
And when they come out, you know, okay, good, let's throw the book at them. You know, locking them up and throwing away the key, that's one of the things that I talk about a lot. It's so impractical because, you know, roughly 95% of everybody that goes to prison gets out. And don't we want them coming out a better person, the transformed person, and their lives meaningful, so that they can become reintegrated back into our society? You know, which of us have not sinned? And so as we, you know, folks are very quick sometimes to throw lots of stones. So this transformation and education of the broader general public is one of the things that I see personally is going to be most impactful and so very necessary with the film.
Well, you know, you said that really beautifully, and I haven't focused as much in some of my other interviews on the film as an educational tool like you just did, but it really, really is going to be that. Not only is it going to be sort of stories of hope for people who are coming out. You know, they will see stories of men who have transformed their lives, who have been ready for change and have taken those steps. Men who faced, you know, seemingly insurmountable odds. They changed their lives and by going to prison and taking advantage of the education that was provided and the transformational material that was provided, and they came out of prison and they are living these transformed lives. And so it is going to be a film about hope and inspiration to people. But I think almost maybe even more importantly is what you said. It's an educational tool for the public, for anybody who has been impacted by incarceration. And frankly, Sharon, isn't that everybody? I mean, at some level, whether it is you've actually had a relative incarcerated, or you are a lawmaker, or you are feeling trapped and imprisoned in your own life in some way. I think that a film like this will highlight and be an educational tool for all of these facets of society. So I really appreciate you bringing that to the forefront, because I foresee using it inside of prison. I foresee using it outside of prison, possibly, you know, in your reentry center and reentry centers around the country. And it's also meant to catalyze a movement, because like you were saying, if people are coming out of prison and without the tools, right, without the proper education, opportunities for transformation, and tools to change their thinking, what's going to happen? they're going to step right back out onto that street corner or right back out into those bad behaviors and land back in prison. And so we've seen this over and over again. We're aware that our society is really, really struggling with this. And we as a humanity, we need tools of hope. We need tools of education. We need tools to help people step into a very different life for themselves. And as they do that, the recidivism rates will decrease, right? Our communities will be safer, and we will have a whole mass of people contributing to society in ways that they never knew how before. Because a lot of these people getting out of prison are very, very talented individuals. They just have not had the opportunity to tap into those talents. And so how amazing would that be? So go ahead.
It's incredibly amazing. And the personal stories that you meet when you hear and when you become familiar, it's not a prison number on a uniform or a prison file jacket. These are real people with real problems who have literally transformed their way of thinking and their lives. And by doing that, it's like, I consider it a small ripple in the pond. If you drop that pebble in the middle of a lake, those ripples will eventually reach the shoreline. And as an educational tool, for example, not just the general public, but also lawmakers and folks who are involved in prison reform and jail, that have things to do on a local level, because really nationally, the time is now. This is the time, because on a local level, on a state level, and on a national level right now is the best time to do this, because from local reentry councils being formed, and I can speak in North Carolina, and I know other states as well, they are cropping up. At a state level, they are planning seed money for these centers, because they recognize if we keep doing the same thing the same old way, we're going to have the same results.
Right.
We're going to have the same results. And that's what we've had. We've had steady rising prison populations, but even greater than that, tracking the number of folks that come back, that revolving door. And if you think it doesn't touch people, the cost of housing a person per day in prisons and jails, if we didn't have those expenses, if we could actually have a process and a transformational process to fix these things, look how much money we could save. And all of the people that have to fight, the schools are fighting, the county social services fight for these limited amount of funds. If we didn't have to feed this much money into a huge system of prisons and jails, think of all the problems that could be addressed, and this limited pot of money that we have be spread across other areas rather than that, for children's education, for elderly, issues with the elderly, all of those things that need money as well. So I really love that this speaks to so many different things. It gives so much hope to those incarcerated, because when they get out, they're so unsure of, what to do. And so oftentimes, if we make it hard to do the right thing, then we conversely make it easy to do the wrong thing. And so by enlightening people and systems and fixing this broken wheel, and it's being attempted to be done. Lots of federal money has been thrown out there recently. Even the most staunch conservatives are on the bandwagon with, you have the left and the right working together now to make things possible to assist people, because everyone recognizes now, the lawmakers, though they're recognizing the fact that we need to give these folks a second chance, thus the Second Chance Act. Yeah. So there's lots of money that's out there in programs, but getting this information out now is imperative, because this is the time. This is the time. There will be no better time than right now. So that's imperative to have donors recognize this and what an impact you can make. You see my Christmas tree behind me. Think of the gift of life, a transformed life that you can give a person, that is not just something that's, wrapped up or worn 3 times, or, sitting in someone's closet or someone's shelf. This is a life that can be impacted by this film.
Yes. Oh, Sharon, so beautifully said. I have chills, and it's exactly what, what my vision is, what our vision is. I know when you and I have talked, it's really about introducing an entirely new way, an entirely new approach to the field of reentry, and to the lawmakers, and to the families, and to everybody impacted by incarceration, because I know there's another way. And we are the way showers, and this film is something that will, it's a step, it's a big step. And if you have had a chance to look at the Indiegogo campaign website, we go into detail with respect to the larger vision that follows the film, including reentry academies, schools where people can come when they come out of prison and transform their lives, coaching academy where we can train coaches to help people reenter. We are really looking at a much more holistic approach to helping men and women released from prison, and helping the families of men and women releasing from prison. And ultimately, the goal must be, if we can help transform lives, we will have less people in prison. We will be able to put our money in other areas of society that need help. And I don't know. I just think it's a win-win-win. And
It is an absolute win for everyone. And uh, if anyone viewing this doesn't know, nationally, the recidivism rate is approximately, it's hard to get pinpointed a number because there's varying definitions of recidivism. In some areas, it may just be any contact with law enforcement, and some it has to be physical arrest, etc. But nationally, you're looking somewhere in the 65% range of folks that go to prison come back to prison. In North Carolina, where I live, it is somewhere upwards of 48%. And locally, which we are a new reentry program, we have our numbers down to approximately 15% and less, depending on the month. So we know how to do these things.
Yes.
It's working, and this film can help others through these things, such as the academy, and train trainers, and start this movement across the country and potentially across the world. But this video is so imperative to get off the ground. So if you've been following this and you're on the fence, I would so recommend that you take the plunge and do this, whether it be little or whether it be lot, and share it with your friends, because there's someone out there that can help us make this possible.
Yes. Well, thank you, Sharon. And why don't we will end with that beautiful plea for help and support. And I thank you so much for being with me tonight. I thank you so much for your support and your belief in this project, in the film, in the larger vision. You are a big part of this. I know you have given to this mission, both emotionally, mentally, and financially. And I just can't thank you enough for being here tonight with me. And just to all of our followers and listeners, we only have a few more days left for our campaign. So we hope you will consider donating before the end of the year. And just know that this film will be made. We are seeking, once this crowdfunding campaign is over, we are going to turn into some other different directions and do some campaigning and some fundraising in other areas and in other ways. So this is not the end. This is just the beginning. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's given to the campaign so far. And keep watching us, and keep believing, and keep us moving forward with this mission. So thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.